But one of the things he brought up, and it's one of these things that comes up so often, and it drives me absolutely bonkers, is price per square foot. And I don't know why it is that realtors, borrowers, people in general go to this. I don't get it. I really don't.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Had an experience 2 nights ago. Just drove me nuts. It's not the first time. Happens all the time. Has to do with price per square foot. I just want to pull my, wait a minute, I don't have any here. Want to remind you we are sponsored by ANOW Software. ANOW, of course, is the way that it's the way I do everything in my office. And now that I have an operations manager, it's the way that she does everything in the office. It's great. ANOW.com/coach is the place to go. One more time, it's ANOW.com/coach. Folks, you've all been there. It usually happens with realtors, sometimes happens with borrowers. This happened with a seller. Oh, come in below the contract price and you get these angry phone calls and, you know, what are you doing, appraiser? In fact, this individual actually at some point in the conversation told me that appraisers were, as he called it, a joke. Appraisers were a joke because they always appraise. This is the way he put it. They always appraise to the purchase price. And I thought, well, that's ironic. Aren't you calling me because I didn't appraise to the purchase price? Anyway, but one of the things he brought up, and it's one of these things that comes up so often, and it drives me absolutely bonkers, is price per square foot. And I don't know why it is that realtors, borrowers, people in general go to this. I don't get it. I really don't, because it is such an idiotic conversation to have. Price per square foot is so, I don't even know what the word is. Lame comes to mind, but it's so out there and so non-relevant to what we do that it absolutely, anytime someone starts to talk about price per square foot, or what about these comps? You've got comp number 3, it's price per square. I mean, I wish they would just take that off the URAR, because I don't think most people are actually smart enough to divide out price per square foot themselves. But they see that glaring on the, they're looking for anything. Somebody gets upset at their value, whether or not it is a refinance and they thought that their house was worth, $212 million and you came in at $211 million or whatever, or maybe it's a purchase and heaven forbid we save somebody from making a mistake, right? Heaven forbid we as appraisers say, dude, you're making a $30,000 mistake here because that house is not worth what you have agreed to pay, right? Heaven forbid. But the bottom line is, folks, I'm telling you, oh, wow. Price per square foot just is so irrelevant to what we do. There's a couple things I wanted to bring up today, and one of them I used with this individual. I think it actually kind of made sense to him. I hope it did. A couple ways that you can respond to this. And one of them I'm going to take credit for, and one of them I wish I could remember who I could give credit to. So if you are that person, I hope that you will comment below on this episode. I think it was a mastermind student of mine, one of my Dream Team mastermind students. In fact, I'm positive it was. I just can't remember which one you are. I'm so sorry. And he's actually brought it up to me twice. I do remember it was a male. He brought it up to me twice, and I just wish I could remember who it was, and I apologize. I have an idea who it was, but anyway, I probably should have reached out to him before this episode. But he gave me such a cool idea. So I'm going to give you that one first, and then I'm going to give you the one that I gave to this individual on the phone. And hopefully this will help, because like me, I think that you're probably as frustrated as I am with this idea of price per square foot. When you come up with your value, and the realtor gets on the phone with you, and it doesn't matter how much you say, hey, listen, I can't talk value. It always seems to lead to value, right? That conversation always comes back to value. And then you look like the bad guy because you're like, I can't really talk value here, dude. Remember what I told you 10 minutes ago? But when they start to bring up cost per square foot, here's the idea that came from my mastermind student. He said, price per square foot is like buying a car and paying by the pound. Love it. Love it. I've not used it yet, but I think it's great. Next time a realtor calls me and says, it starts talking price per square foot, I'm going to say, you know, price per square foot, that's an interesting concept, but you do realize that price per square foot is like buying a car and paying by the pound. Why? Because there's so many characteristics, aspects, amenities, so much that goes into the value. I'm preaching to the choir here. Obviously, I'm talking to appraisers. We get it. There's so much more that goes in to the valuation of a home than price per square foot, that it's like buying a car and paying by the pound. Absolutely love it. The other thing I absolutely love is Now software. I recently hired an operations manager in my business. Holy cow, has that changed my life. Love you, Dia. Thank you for coming on board with us. She has been an amazing lifesaver. But one of the things that she came to me and said the other day, which I thought was interesting, she said, you know, I found that I really, really, really need to get intimate with Now, because that is the lifeblood of your business. And I said, bingo. That's exactly right. Now is the lifeblood of my business. Why? Because it is a snapshot at any moment of any single appraisal order or any multiple appraisal orders. What I mean by that is this. Whenever I need to find out what is going on any particular order, I simply go to Now, and I know exactly where it is in the process. I know why it's on hold, because so-and-so called at 2:11 p.m. yesterday and put it on hold. That stuff is right there in the notes. Love it. And I know who took that phone call, by the way. That's the other cool thing, is it earmarks everybody that puts notes into Now. That's one side of it. The other side of it is, what is my business doing on a whole, on a macro level? How many appraisals have I done this month? Where is my revenue? What is unpaid? I love Now, folks. I cannot tout it enough. Absolutely love it. I've had appraisers come to me and say, well, Dustin, I can do that with a spreadsheet. Okay, yeah. I'll tell you what, you try that, and then you use Now, and then you tell me if I wasn't right. Now software is found at anow.com/coach. One more time, anow.com/coach. All right, folks, we are back. We're talking today about price per square foot. I gave you a little anecdotal idea that I cannot take credit for. I wish I could. Shout out to whichever mastermind member told me this. Dang, I wish I could remember who it was, but said to me on 2 different occasions, you know, price per square foot is like buying a car and paying for it by the pound. Absolutely perfect analogy. And I think people will understand that. And you don't say it in a sarcastic way. I mean, do be professional about it, but I think it gets the point across. I really do. You know, are you going to buy a Lamborghini or are you going to buy a Ford Taurus, right? There's so much more that goes into a car than how much it weighs, right? And the same is true with a house. If you're just buying price per square foot, it is such a ridiculous argument that it's not even worth uttering it. And you can't say that to a realtor. You can't say that to an angry borrower, but you can at least, I think, give this analogy. Here's another one that I would give, and I'll have to admit right up front that this one is not fully formed. I actually thought of it on the phone with this individual, because what I was trying to explain is he kept going back to this idea that I had used $60, I think it was like $62 a square foot for my adjustment for GLA, just GLA. It had a basement, it had acreage, it had outbuildings, it had upgrades, it had, you know, different quality and condition adjustments and all of this stuff, right? And he kept coming back. He was so angry. He was so angry because I think the sales price was like $175 on this particular property. I know some of you live in areas are like, you can buy a house for $175,000. Yeah, in Idaho, you can. It's actually a pretty decent house. So I think the sales price was like $175, and I think I came in at like $156. Okay. And of course, he's angry. He's the seller. And unfortunately, the client gave me permission to talk to him. Damn it. So I'm having this conversation, and it was literally an hour conversation. It was 5 minutes short of an hour conversation with this guy. And he picked every single thing apart, every little thing he picked apart. I'm just like, oh my gosh. This is killing me. This all just comes back to comps, dude. I mean, you can complain about this, that, and the other, but it really all comes down to comps. I mean, he spent 20 minutes telling me that my estimate of the percentage finished in the basement was off, right? The basement was 412 square feet. And I think I marked like $25 or 25% finished, and he thought it was more like 35. And I'm just like, oh my God, do you realize how little difference? Okay, fine, I'll change it to 35. I mean, it's not going to make anyway. I'm getting off. Whew. I'm getting fired up. Folks, it was 2 nights ago I had this conversation. I'm still fired up over it. But one of his big complaints was cost per square foot, and he kept going back to it. Sorry, excuse me. He didn't talk about cost per square foot. Well, he did, but that was a different issue. He kept going back. He says, how can you make a $62 a square foot adjustment? $62 per square foot adjustment. When all of the houses, he kept saying, all of the houses in the neighborhood are selling for at least $130 a square foot. I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but you do realize that we're talking apples and oranges, right? And by using the term oranges, when I said apples and oranges, just like on the cartoons, you know, they're walking down the street, and all of a sudden there's this light bulb that goes bing above their head, right? So when I said to him apples and oranges, all of a sudden I realized that there was an analogy here that I could use, okay? Because what I was trying to explain to this individual is that the cost, or the adjustment rather, the adjustment of $62 a square foot is not the same as price per square foot. It's not the same as value per square foot. It is not the same number as what you're seeing above each of these comps. And he said, no, you're talking GLA, you're talking gross. I know you're not talking basement. I know that. No. Dude, we're talking apples and oranges here, right? You keep talking about building a house, because he's a builder, right? He's like, I can't even start a house for less than $130 a square foot. Right. No kidding, dude. I understand where you're coming from. But the adjustment that I'm making of $62 a square foot is not the same thing. We're talking apples and oranges here. And I kept trying to tell him we're making a separate adjustment for bedrooms and baths, for example, right? The numbers of bedrooms and baths. We're making a separate adjustment for below grade square footage. We're making a separate adjustment for quality and condition and age and lot size. And all of these components are broken out. And all I'm doing is the very raw adjustment of per square foot. Okay. Yeah, he didn't get it either. I mean, I literally spent 25 minutes trying to explain to him that $62 a square foot adjustment was not the same as price per square foot total. And so the analogy that I came with, and again, I apologize, it's not fully formed. I really literally thought of it when I said to him, you're talking apples and oranges. Then I thought of this idea. So maybe someone can take this and run with it. Maybe you can perfect it a little bit better than I did on the phone, because I don't know if it helped much. But here's the analogy that I gave him, right? I said it's kind of like an orange, okay? Let's say the orange itself, okay, is $1. Okay, you go to the store and the orange itself costs $1. And let's say the value of that orange is, whatever. So let's just say it's equal to price. So the value of the orange is $1. You're going to go to the store, you're going to buy an orange for $1, right? An appraiser of that orange might go in. I know this is really lame, but this is all I had. Okay, this is all I had to go on. An appraiser goes in, right? And each part of that orange has value. Okay. The peel has value, the seeds have value, and each slice of that orange has value. What we're talking here is when you say price per square foot, you're really talking about that orange as price per pound, right? The orange as a whole, right? Now, the peeling itself is probably not very useful. You're going to take it off, you're going to throw it away, right? That's what most people do. There's probably some other uses out there for it. I don't know what they would be, but nonetheless, don't jump on the comments and tell me all these uses for orange peelings. Okay. I really don't care. The bottom line is you've got this orange as a whole, and some of it's waste and some of it is useful. One of those things is useful is one slice of that orange, and the $62 a square foot that I am adjusting for gross living area, period. Nothing else, is one slice of that orange. It's one slice of that orange. Okay. You're talking about the orange as a whole. Price per square foot refers to the house, the product, the land, the property, as a whole. That's the price per square foot, right? But when you're talking about the adjustment, you're just talking about one slice of the orange. Again, I don't know if it helped because the guy was angry. He was angry. He was emotional. He was upset. He had lost a deal. He, told me over and over and over again how many he had multiple offers on this property, all well above my appraised value, multiple offers, and that I was lame, and that he's going to give me a bad review and what have you. But the bottom line is he was emotional. He was upset. I don't know that any analogy would have helped him, but maybe you can take and run with it. Okay. The two different analogies here are adjustment of gross living area is simply one slice of the orange. That's one. And the other one is price per square foot is like buying a car and paying for it by the pound. Folks, I hope you will join us for the Appraiser Academy. We meet monthly. Every month we meet online live, and it is recorded, both audio and video, if you would like to pick it up and run with it later. But we meet in an interactive webinar style online meeting where you can ask any question you want about your business, about your appraisal office, about your productivity, about your success. And it's not just me, but appraisers across the country will help you to be the better appraiser, the better business owner that you want to be. Join us. Go to theappraisercoach.com and click on memberships. We would love to have you. Catch you next time.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.